What's going on, YouTube family? Today is all about auctions. Now, I get asked a million times, where's the best place to buy cars? What's the best auction? So I'm going to go through all the lists. Now, we're going to go over all types of auctions, whether you're looking at buying a car as a regular person or as a dealer, if you're buying a clean title one or a salvage, importing, exporting, all that other fun stuff. Also, I'm going to give you my opinions on each auction. There are some pros and cons that you need to know about before you sign up with an auction and start bidding on cars. So I think this will be a very fun interactive video, so let's get into it. Now, we're going to go ahead and start off with a few auctions that are open to the public. The very first one is tow yard auctions. When I first got into buying and selling cars, I used to go to a lot of these. Now, there are pros and cons when it comes to buying cars from tow yards. First, a lot of tow yards will not let you start or look at the car. It's usually as is, where is, how is. Now, if you're a little bit mechanically inclined, this is a great spot to find cars. Every single local tow yard in your area will have something. This is one I go to all the time here in Vegas. I used to have a lot of good cars. Now it's basically oversaturated here, so it's not a really great place, but you can find good deals in your area if you look for them. So one of the things I recommend is going all the way across your area, listing every single tow yard, whether you got to go through Google or the phone book, and call each one to find out when their next auction is. Now, another thing, a lot of times they don't give you a title when you buy a car. They'll give you a lien certificate because they have a storage lien from when they towed it. So it could take a little bit of time to get the title, but this is a great place to get started and see how auctions work. Now, another great place for the general public to buy a car is actually at charities. A lot of charities have auctions or stores where they sell things that were either donated or given to them. So I go to Catholic charities quite a bit, and there's a lot of cars that have gotten basically donated. Not only are you getting a car at a great deal, but you're also helping a great cause. Another one is I know there's a lot of VA companies that take cars in as a donation to turn around and sell them. So look into charity auctions. They're a really great place to find good deals, and you're actually helping your community. So the next two sites absolutely blew up during the pandemic. Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer. Now, these are both open to the public, but these are really great for enthusiast type of auctions. So unless you have a cool car or unique car, I highly recommend not putting your cars on here because you're going to be extremely disappointed. Now, unfortunately, the prices have come down a lot. The economy's not what it used to be. And so you see a lot of people walking away from bids. And this is one of the cons that I'm going to talk about today. Now, let's say you want to sell a car on the platform. They're going to tell you it's worth $40,000, but let's say you think it's worth 50 because you saw one last year sell for that amount. So you're going to get that number in your head. And if you run it, more than likely they're going to make you put it at no reserve. So let's say you sell the car confident that you'll bring all the money because yours is cleaner than the last one that sold before. Guess what? Not as many people are buying. The economy's not great. People don't have the money. And now your car sells for 40 grand. Well, guess what? That owner doesn't want to sell his car, so he just takes his car off the platform and leaves. And so the bidder thinks he's won a great car, now basically is out of a car. An exact opposite when it comes to actual bidders. Now, I put two cars up on a platform. I won't say which one. And both times the car ran and the winning bidders backed out of the deal. Not because they were issue with the car, because they didn't have any money. So what did I get for running these two cars and basically losing both bids to, BS buyers? There's nothing really hold them accountable. When you're a dealer or when you go to other auctions, they charge you, if not hundreds, thousands of dollars for a deposit. And you can get banned from the auction if you don't do that. But when it comes to cars and bids, people don't care. And Bring a Trailer, they're just going to create a new email and get it under their mother's account. So they do charge, I know, a few dollars, but even if basically I wasted 3 weeks on two auctions, did I get any type of compensation or anything good, or maybe a lower percentage when I sell the car? Of course not. So I wasn't met with any type of concession. So that's the downfall with some of these public auctions is there are a lot of people that are just, dreamers that are trying to bid on stuff and just run prices up. That's what they do. So my advice, I don't like to buy there unless you have something really unique and special that's only on there that you want to buy. So now I'm going to talk about everybody's favorite auction, Copart. Now, whether you're the general public or a dealer, you can purchase cars from Copart. And believe it or not, they do have clean title cars, which is their new Copart Select program where they're selling repos. If you guys want to sign up for that, I have a link in the description below where you can buy clean title cars as a regular person. If you want to buy something salvaged or damaged, you do have to be a dealer in some states. So you have to find out in your local area what is allowed and what's not. But there are lots of great deals because I've bought in tons of cars with just minor body damage or even something that was just a little bit ugly for basically thousands of dollars in discounts. Now, I will go over the fees because that's the biggest problem, which I'll save for the end. But one of the things I like about it the most is that you could buy literally anything on Copart, pretty much anything that was insurable. I've bought in forklifts, jet skis, boats, RVs, trailers, motorhomes, motorcycles, scooters. I mean, what was the craziest thing? Oh, I bought a diesel generator. Had no idea if it worked. It just looked really cool. And the thing fired up and I ended up selling it. I think I paid $1,500 for it and I sold it for $5,600 in 2 weeks later because I guess these things are bulletproof and they don't die, these old military generators. But that's some of the stuff that you could find on Copart. So everybody thinks it's just salvage cars. There's much, much more. And if you do it right, you can basically have that advantage. Now, one of the cool things is Copart takes a lot of pictures, lots of videos. And if you want to go to your local area and actually take a look at the car, whether you're the public or a dealer, you can do that. They will allow you to check out these vehicles, which is kind of a good thing. Where some of the other auctions we talked about will not let you look at it. Now, one of the big things that people always talk about is the fact of the fees. Oh my God, Lucky, I'd love to buy a Copart, but the fees are so expensive. So today I want to break down why the fees are what they are. One of the biggest reasons why is, let's say you buy a car like this one. This one's, what is a wrecked Hyundai? Let me click on this just so you have some change of scenery here. Okay, so we have this wrecked Hyundai. Let's say Copart gets a call from, I don't know, State Farm and says, hey, we have a 2025 Hyundai Sonata that's wrecked, it's in Mobile. Can you go pick it up from the tow yard or the body shop? Copart will say yes. They will take that car and bring it to their storage lot because Copart may charge $10 a day where the body shop or the tow yard can charge anywhere from $35 to $55 a day, whatever their state allows. So now they're saving the insurance company money. That car could sit there for weeks, months, even years, depending on what happened in the accident. Did somebody get hurt? Is somebody suing somebody? You know, whatever the case is, sometimes these cars are held by evidence. You know, did you have to do a teardown? Were you out in the middle of nowhere? Did somebody have to actually go out and find the parts for your vehicle? So some of these cars sitting on Copart's lot could be there for months, weeks, if not years. And so now you're sitting on a car for, months, and then it finally comes up for sale. Now what Copart does, they turn around, they clean up the car, they start taking pictures, they jump start it, they get it running, whatever they got to do, order keys, get everything good to go when it's ready for sale. And then when they sell it, they have to hold on to it. And then when it's ready to go, they'll use, if it's drive, they can drive it off. If not, they'll lift up a forklift, move it around the yard and basically place it where it's at. Now, this is why you see these fees about 20% higher than typical auctions, is because they're incurring all the storage costs, holding the vehicle, cleaning it up multiple times, and moving it around for anywhere from 3 months to a year. So this is why it takes so long. That's why I keep hearing in my DMs, I've been trying to buy this flood car and I can't get it. Why is it not up? Is because a lot of these cars are going through legal processes, or they want to make sure there's no fraud, whatever the case is. And so a lot of these flood cars that were hit by Florida, over a month and a half ago, are still not going to be showing up to some of these insurance auctions for months from now, because depending on what the legal situation was on that vehicle. So this is why their fees are kind of high. Now, there are ways you can kind of discount them if you go pick up the car, if it's running and driving. And a lot of times you can talk to them about doing some sort of special, or if you buy like 2 or 3 cars and pull them out, they'll work with you. Now, that's a very rare deal. I've only had that when I bought maybe 4 or 5 cars from like a rental car fleet, where they'll do a special, like, hey, just buy this and we'll give you a discount, or whatever the case may be. But there are deals out there. Now, if you're looking at buying anything random, I would definitely check out Copart. Now, these next 2 auctions are 100% online. This is kind of the future of what car sales or car auctions are going to be. The first one is ACV. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't remember my login, but I wanted to show you. They have a lot of really cool features that can help you buy and sell cars. But there are some pros when it comes to this. Now, the cool thing with ACV is they physically come to your location with one of their inspectors that's a third party. They scan the car. They have this really cool machine where they put underneath your car, and you drive your car over and it scans the whole underneath of the car. So you can see if there's any leaks, any type of rust, if you're missing catalytic converters, which is a big thing now from all the crackheads stealing that stuff. And so it gives you more of an in-depth inspection on the vehicle. Now, open lane, I can't really say. There's not really a whole lot out there. I'm waiting for one of the reps to get back to me. I personally never purchased from there, but I do have a lot of dealers that go through open lane. Now, when it comes to selling cars, ACV has a lot of really cool options where you could sell as a traditional auction. You could put it up online and just see what it sells for. Now, all this is done from my phone, which is pretty neat. I get a text message saying, hey, B&B Motors just posted a 2020 Aston Martin that you were looking for. Are you interested? And you just click on it to see the auctions. Usually when I'm bored, I'll literally get on ACV and start scrolling through on my phone to see what cars are popping up at the auction, because sometimes there's always something fun. So it's very neat that it uses your phone to keep buyers and sellers engaged. That's one really cool thing. Another thing is they have an option where you can do what's called a trade-in offer. So let's say you're in a small town and somebody wants to trade in a very big, expensive diesel truck. Now, typically that's not what you really sell on your lot, but the customer's adamant in trading it in and downsizing to something more affordable. So instead of losing the deal, what you can tell them is you're going to put out a buyout offer to see what gives you the most money. And basically, as a seller, I can post this car for, let's say, $45,000. And as I put it up there for sale, other dealers can bid on it. And it's a 24-hour period where everyone will give me their offer on what they'll buy the car for. Let's say I get an offer for $40,000. I can call my customer. Hey, customer, I got a $40,000 offer on this vehicle. Are you willing to accept that? If the customer says yes, he's happy, he gets rid of his car, you make a sale, and the dealer that bought it from you gets the truck they want at a good price. Also, it could be a profit center if you're a dealer. If someone gives you an offer for 40, you can tell the customer you'll give them $38,000 for his trade-in, and then you can go ahead and pocket the $2,000 to overcome maybe some expenses that you had before. But there's a lot of cool things that ACV does, and the fact that they don't blow you up and hit you up with a bunch of like marketing material, I kind of like too, because a lot of these spammy auctions, I can't stand them. Open Lane, I heard it's kind of going towards that, but hopefully they'll watch this video and reach out to me and do some fun stuff. So I wanted to save the best for last. This is Dealers Club. This is my new favorite auction that I found about 2 months ago from one of my dealer friends. Now, the cool thing about this is the way it's ran. Now, it is basically owned by an automotive guy, which I'll get into here in a little bit. But the cool thing of what they do is they take auctions to a different level. Now, usually when you're buying and selling cars, you can never really talk to the buyer and the buyer can't talk to the seller. The auction always wants to separate these two because they think they're doing a service, but a lot of times it's a disservice. If I have a question on a vehicle like this 2021 Tahoe, if I'm looking at something and I have a question and I'm like, hey, you know what? That interior looks gray. Is it gray or is it light blue? That's something that maybe my customer is very firm. He wants gray, doesn't want light blue. I'm not going to get stuck buying a $40,000 car with not knowing exactly what the interior color is. Maybe there's an issue on a Carfax or there's an issue on some sort of mechanical thing. You could message the people on Dealers Club, which is absolutely cool. You can leave a comment. So let me scroll down here and show you guys. Now, I sold one of my cars on here last week. It was my smart car. If you guys remember my turbo lifted smart car, that's gone. I'm working on smart car 3.0. But it was pretty neat because people were asking me questions. What kind of turbo kit was it? What was the system it had in it? How's it functioning? Everything else. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so it just says, welcome back, thanks to be back. So it's just two friends saying hello on here. But the fact of the matter is you can actually talk to the buyers and the buyers can talk back to the sellers. It doesn't have to be the middleman in the auction, which I believe will give you even more money when it comes to selling your car. But the reason why I think this is so good is, let me actually scroll down here, is this right here. So if you look right here, Griffin Auto Sales has a 4.9 rating. Now just imagine if you're a car dealer, think about all the crazy and crappy cars you bought from shady wholesalers, other dealers, bankers, and some of these franchise independent stores. It's a nightmare. Just imagine if you could rate some of your buyers. So if a car comes up on the block and you see that the seller has a 1 star by his name, more than likely he's going to lie about the cars, the condition, and try to sell you a crappy car. Well, this is where Dealers Club's a little bit different. They'll actually show you all the good and bad of what people have said. Now, the cool thing is you're basically judged by your peers, which is very neat because now everybody's becoming friends or talking to each other. The guy that I sold my smart car to, I actually physically talked to their people down there there, talked to their mechanic, talked about all the fun stuff that's I've done to the car. And so it's kind of a neat interactive experience. I have a Ferrari up here that I just put up for sale too, that I've been messaging another gentleman back and forth, but it's very cool to have that interaction with a buyer and seller. On top of that, when you go to actually sell a car and you do sell one, you know, you could talk to the people where maybe the car didn't start because the battery was dead or you forgot to tell them about a kill switch. The arbitration is a lot more friendly. On top of that, this is what I think is going to change most online auctions and dealers club stuff, because they actually have an arbitrage agreement where the dealerships and everyone else works it out for them. So like I said, you're trial by your peers. So if they said the car was clean, the car was perfect, but then everybody else sees that, you know, the car wasn't clean and the car had some issues and they share it, you will buy that car back, and because you don't want to lose or jeopardize your reputation for selling on here, which is kind of good. So there's positive reinforcement to be honest, but there's also positive reinforcement to buy the car back so you don't burn up your reputation. So if you could buy as a dealer off a reputation, that's kind of what I do. This is how I'm able to get a few extra dollars. So this is a game changer. Now, Dealers Club's not a sponsor of mine. I'm just talking about them because I think what they're doing is truly amazing. I'd like to work with them. So if you're watching this, definitely reach out to me. But, you know, this is what we need in the automotive industry. Now, I've had a lot of people tell me that they've never met a car salesperson like me because I usually just shoot straight from the hip and just tell you exactly what's going on. And I think what Dealers Club is doing is going to kind of change the game because nobody else is doing this. Everybody's so basically trying to be the middleman and keep both parties separate, where Dealers Club is literally bringing people together so they can talk about the cars, talk about the issues, and make buying and selling cars a little bit simpler. So if you want to sign up for any of the auctions, I do have affiliate links in the description below. It helps support the channel. Also, just remember, when you buy from auctions, it's not always 100% guaranteed. A lot of people always ask me, Lucky, why do you buy so many cars off of Facebook Marketplace? Why don't you just buy from the auction? The reason why I tend to buy more cars in public than at auctions is because I'm really big on learning about the car and the person that owned it before. This is why I tell a lot of you guys, unless you're a dealer and I could buy 30 cars online and not have to worry about it, if you're looking for a good deal, you're better negotiating with maybe somebody that's a private individual that's had this car on Facebook Marketplace for a month and you're able to negotiate a deal. On top of that, you could drive the car, you could test it out, you can make sure it's a good car, because once you start playing with the big boys and you go to some of these auctions, they're going to expect you to be a professional. So if you misbid on accident, you raised your hand at the wrong time, or you didn't read the description in the fine print saying that that was an export only title, which means you can never register in the United States, that is on you. And I cannot tell you, if you're part of our group, I actually just started a new group on school, the link also be in the description, where we're going to share some of the stories and some of the bad things that happen to people, because there are so many people that buy shit that have no idea what's wrong with it until they get it home and they read the description, find out that the car is salvaged, flooded, fired, issues, the motor was wrong, whatever the case is. Now, a lot of things that was wrong could have been avoided if they would just simply read the description or know the proper ways to buy a car. But this is the fun of buying and selling at auctions. So hopefully this was fun and educational. If you guys like to do any more videos like this, please in the description below, let me know what you guys would like to see. I'm going to be doing more interactive videos of me physically going to the auction. The reason why I haven't done it is because I wanted to make sure I got permission from auction houses before I started going. There are a few YouTubers that show this stuff, but the downfall is they're eventually going to get banned if they don't get permission, where I'd rather be respectful. I do this for a living, because remember, I try to do YouTube for a living, but the YouTube algorithm loves my videos, but unfortunately what they pay is absolutely horrific. So if you want to become my sugar daddy or sponsor me, message me down below. Also, if any of you auctions want to sponsor me, please hit my DMs up and maybe we can work something out. But I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.